On today's Coach's Corner, we got one of the brightest football minds here in the Coachella Valley, the head coach of the Rancho Mirage Rattlers, Mr. LD Matthews. Thank you for coming in, Coach.
Welcome, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Appreciate
we've been wanting to have you in here a long time. You're a big part of the community, and we're glad to talk to you.
Well, thanks.
And I know a little bit how you got started, but I know you're from back east. Like, how did you get in this crazy game of coaching? Like, where did it start?
Well, my passion started growing up in a little rural community in northeastern Montana, less than 2,000 people. I'm a son of a farmer and a rancher, and Friday night lights was everything in our community. I mean, the town would shut down, and everybody was at the game, and
I love that.
it just was an opportunity to, play football and basketball, really track and field, all the sports we played, and play with your best friends. And the community just came together. And my head coach growing up was just a super motivated guy. He could get you to run through a wall, and being a part of his program really made me want to be a coach someday. And my father had a lot to do with that as well. He was a farmer rancher. I didn't realize how hard the work that was, and a lot of 6 in the morning and 8 at night on the ranch. And I said, well, maybe I want to do something else with my life, And so, that's just kind of how it started. And went to high school. We had some fairly successful teams. Played in a couple state championship football games, a couple basketball games, and went on and played college football, and just fell in love with just the team and being a part of it. And, Friday night lights, as you guys know, you don't get those feelings very often in your life. I mean, when you get married, graduate college, get a new job, birth of a child, but those Friday night lights bring back those memories. And so, we all have to hang up those cleats at one point of our lives. We're not going to be able to play forever. And so being able to still be part of the game and impact lives, that's really what matters.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part, is right before the game starts. I mean, there's no better feeling. Like, you got the two schools lining up, they're warming up. We don't know what's going to happen. I just love it. So I can relate to that.
Yeah, the national anthem plays, and
Yes.
and right
Yeah,
before
here
the
we go.
kickoff, here we go.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned you played in Montana, so we're in California. So
Yeah.
how did that journey kind of start, and how did you end up here in the Coachella Valley? You've been here. I know you've been here. You've been a staple of this community for a long time. So can you walk us through that journey?
So I graduated in 1999 from Malta High School, and went on and played. I never was the best athlete, but I worked my tail off, and was very coachable. And I played at Rocky Mountain College, got a scholarship at a little NAI school. Actually broke my arm, got a medical red shirt. We had a coaching change. Ended up moving out to Orange Coast College, Costa Mesa,
Okay.
California. Played there for a semester, and then ended up getting a full ride scholarship to D2 school in Southwest Baptist University in Bolivar, Missouri. Played there for a year and a half, and I actually tore out both my knees.
Oh.
And
You've been through it, man, with
and
the injuries.
just moved back home to a little school, Montana State University, Northern NAIA school, about 60 miles or 90 miles east of my hometown. Finished up my playing years there, and was a graduate assistant there for a year and a half, and just got kind of tired of the cold weather. And my sister and brother-in-law were both teachers for Palm Springs Unified School District, and so one March I flew out for spring break. I think I left the airport. It was like -10 in March, and flew into Palm Springs, and it was like 77 degrees out and sunny.
That's a good month.
And I was just like, what am I doing in Montana? And they kind of encouraged me to come down here. So really went back home after spring break and told everybody there that I was moving to California. I didn't have a job. I mean, I was going to be a full-time sub and try to pick up a coaching position, and kind of that's what happened. So came down in the summer of 2005 and went to a couple interviews, and I got a job at Edward L. Winslow Elementary as a PE teacher, and then started coaching high school football at Desert Hot Springs High School. So that's kind of how I got down here.
Desert Hot Springs, huh?
Yep.
And ultimately, you took over that program a couple years later, correct?
Yeah, I was there for a year with Craig Cheslick, and then Kevin Hennessy came, and then the budget cuts of 2008 came, and people were getting cut left and right, and actually I had some more seniority than him, and I ended up they took so long to give everybody's jobs back or decide. We were already 2 weeks in to fall camp, and like, do you want to be the head coach? I was like, well, somebody's got to be. So I didn't really even interview for my first head position, and
threw you out there.
And so it was a great experience at Desert Hot Springs High School. There's some great kids I coached, great student athletes,
Great seasons.
overcome. I mean, a lot of things in their lives that just people can't even imagine.
Yeah.
And we've had some good success there. And I was always kind of raised. I don't want to be a transient coach. I was never. I thought when I got my first head job, I'm gonna live there and die there and be there forever. And just the opportunity, I watched Shadow Hills open, Oak Hills, all these other high schools open up brand new, and I just, what an opportunity to have a chance to open a school from
Ground up.
Yeah, from bottom with nothing. I mean, and so it was really tough to leave Desert Hot Springs, because especially with the group of kids I had coming back, they were very special to me. But it was always one of my goals. I talk to the kids all the time about writing goals, put them on paper, and once an opportunity comes, you gotta seize it. And it was always one of my goals to open a high school. And so, I got that opportunity. I was very blessed to be in that position.
2016 is when you guys played your first season, correct?
2013, we opened the school. It was kind of interesting because I was still teaching at Desert Hot Springs, and we had spring football in April of 2013, and we had kids from all over coming from Palm Springs, Cat City, Palm Desert,
The new school.
DHS. I mean, it's very interesting because they're coming from another school, and there must be a reason they're coming. Nobody knows why, but just trying to bring a bunch of kids from all over the really the valley to have practice and to put in our philosophies and our systems and all that when they're not even on campus yet was a huge challenge. But I feel very blessed. Dr. Wagner, Ken Wagner, and Chris Caldwood, Mr. Caldwood, gave me an opportunity to try. I mean, when I interviewed for the position, I didn't think I was going to even get it, because Mr. Caldwood, coming from Palm Springs, there's so many long lines of people that could have been in that situation, but they took a chance on me, and I'm forever grateful, because it's really my dream job, what I'm doing right now. It's what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah, they took a gamble. I mean, you only had 1 year of varsity experience, but it paid out. I mean, here we are, 13 years later.
Yeah.
And you're still the head guy and running one of the most consistent programs in the valley, I think.
You had more than one varsity year at DHS, right?
Yeah, I was there for 8 years at DHS,
Oh, were you? 8 years?
and
Okay,
4
my bad.
years 4 years as the head coach there. So this is it's funny because it's like 21 years already. It's like I remember starting, when all the OG coaches were here with Fabian and Murphy and Armstrong and Blackburn, and just some of the greats that have been around. They're all retired now, and all, a lot of turnover at schools, and I know everybody's looking for an opportunity, but I mean, my home is where it's at, and I mean, unless my wife tells us we need to go to warmer weather, which I don't think there is going to be any.
Yeah, I don't think.
It's just it's something special, because you've built it from ground zero, and everything you've put into it. It is what it is. It's kind of different than going to a program that's maybe established or that has stuff set in. I mean, we had no uniforms, we had no weight room,
No traditions.
we had no tradition. I mean, one of the things we even struggle right now with today is just, I mean, I know you're a La Quinta guy and you're an Indio guy. I mean, we don't have any alumni. I
Yeah.
mean, we're only 13 years old, and I'm hopeful that
Yeah.
that I can coach a player's kid of mine. That's always been, so I can say, hey, your dad used to do this. Don't listen to what he's saying. Listen to what I'm saying. But
Right.
just the alumni, the you know, we haven't been around very long. In Shadow's a little bit. They're in the similar boat, and even Xavier. I mean, so it's just one of those things that having a history. We're each day we're building that history, but
Still
it's
young.
still young.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. No alum to pull and ask for, booster club money and
There's a lot of passion in
Yeah.
those older, parents and
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. Well, you just got history at schools. I mean, parents and or grandparents and great grandparents have bled a certain color for their whole life, and it's sometimes hard. And even in our city, I mean, Rancho Mirage, great city, but we don't we have a lot of retirement people, so
Mhm.
we're we helped balance some population with schools within our district, and we're pulling from Cat City, DHS, Thousand Palms, a little bit of Palm Desert, and whoever else wants to come with that open enrollment. So, and the fact we really don't have a feeder program. I mean, there's groups around us, but it's just a different situation. So, but it's been a blessing, and I just uh, you know 15 16 more years hopefully in me, and can retire. But
Coach some of the kids that you
yes,
second generation
Yes.
Rattlers coming through. That'd be cool.
that would be cool, and it's always been a goal of mine. And part of that, growing up in my little community, watching, we didn't have a lot of high school coaches. I mean, the coaches stayed for 25, 30 years, and so um, when you stay that long, and especially in a one school city, you're gonna see some generations come through, and so we're looking forward to that. And it's just time. You got to
Yeah.
have time to be able to do that.
It's coming.
Yeah. Looking to upgrade your home? Tile Designs by Fina is your one-stop destination for beautiful flooring, hard surfaces, and countertops. From timeless design, modern styles, they've got the perfect look for every room. Stop by today and transform your space with Tile Designs by Fina. Let's design together. It was pretty remarkable. I mean, I remember when the school first opened up, you guys, like you said, had no tradition. But I think within 5 years, weren't you guys in a
Yeah.
semifinal and a final, like getting like into that
Got
that
good pretty
rare
quick, Coach.
territory of CIF?
Well,
Um,
it's yeah. I mean, when we did things right, not going into the DL right away. It really helped us staying in the Deanza to start things off. And you know, when you open a school and you take your lumps, the first varsity season we were 1-9. There's lots of motivation. We got people around the valley calling you an elementary school and saying you don't belong, and so there's motivation built in, and so you don't have a graduating class. You have juniors that are playing, and so and in our first varsity season we had a lot of freshmen that were starting varsity and several sophomores. So um, we figured we'd have a good chance, but I mean, you just never know with this game. I mean, it's a lot of momentum. Got to stay healthy, and so 2015 was our first playoff berth. We finished second in the league, and then 2016 we were 11-3 and won our first league championship and went to the CI finals. Lost to Arroyo in overtime. They went for two and beat us right at the end, but that group of seniors is just remarkable. I mean, they were freshmen. They were groundbreakers.
Yeah.
They just, everything was harder. When we opened the school, we didn't have all our stuff even put together yet. The weight room and those kids were just tough. They just went with it, and they just and they overachieved and worked really hard. So always be a special group of guys that first graduating class, and even in the first CIF championship appearance that we had. So only one so far. It's tough, man. I mean, getting to a championship game is just, you have to have everything go right.
Yeah.
And especially in this valley, we play each other, and you just beat the crap
Beat
out of
up
each
on each
other,
other.
and if you can
DEL, man,
if you
tough.
can survive injuries, and
Yeah.
it's just tough sometimes. And but I truly believe the strength of our league, especially if you finish second or third or even fourth, you're not going to be necessarily in a higher division. You have a really good chance of making a run,
Yeah.
and we've seen that over the last several years with some of the teams. So, but
Yeah, I really thought Shadow Hills was gonna.
Yeah.
They had a good seed this
Good
year.
draw.
I thought they had a good chance. So,
Yeah.
like you said, third, fourth place finish is pretty good, especially with the new, the new playoff system.
yeah,
Do you still have that record of like the biggest overtime? How many overtimes was that?
yeah, we played.
There's some record I remember.
Yeah, it was back in
Check this out. Coach.
2000. I want to say 11, maybe.
Yeah, DHS.
Yeah, we played Big Bear, and it went into 8 overtimes. And
You run out of plays in
That's
8 overtime,
grit,
right?
Coach.
yeah, Coach Griffith from Big Bear, he's such a great guy, man. I have a lot of respect for him. We ended up losing the game. I think it was 56-50 or something like that. But the game ended at like 11-27. It's a I don't know, it could have been broke. I haven't looked, but it was
At the time, it was a record.
yeah, it was
I
a state
remember.
record in California, and it was 4th nationally. But it just was.
Can you imagine that?
8 overtimes.
Yeah, well, and the
Like a
thing
whole
about
other
it,
game.
Big Bear, I mean, they're from the mountain, and they come down, and we played them. It was early on. It was a hot day, hot evening, just normal for us in the desert. But I mean, everybody ran out of water a couple times that game. I mean, they had to refill the jugs. Guys were cramping up, and the game was won 3 or 4 different times. It could have been on a fumble on this overtime or a drop 2-point conversion. It just never ended, and I mean, it finally did. But it's
Wow.
probably one of the most memorable games. You always want to win no matter what, but just every kid on that field just played their heart out
Yeah.
that night. Nobody wanted to lose, but unfortunately we did. But it was just a great game, great atmosphere, and
As a coach, you got to be really locked in. I mean, 8 overtimes. I mean,
well, you don't script plays for that long
No.
of a game, and so you're kind of and it's funny because the refs were getting tired. I mean, I remember
Everybody
I won't
was.
say who they were, but he's a good guy, and he's a good ref. And I was like, hey man, they're taking forever. He's like, I'm giving you guys all 40 seconds, man. It was just getting, because everybody's exhausted. So,
Yeah.
but it was one of those games that you never think you'll play in, and it just keeps going and going and going. But it was a great memory, and
I remember that. I think about that sometimes. I don't know why, but 8 overtimes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like a whole nother game.
You don't think it's possible, but it's possible.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, at some point, somebody could be, one coach would be like, all right, just let them score.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get on the bus and go home.
Yeah.
This is too much,
Yeah.
But we could do a whole podcast on probably your breakdown of that game. That'd be
yeah,
probably a good
it
one.
was. You know what? We didn't, after the game. There was not a lot of. I mean, we could have won the game. We lost, and the kids were just so exhausted, and that we just talked about how good of an effort they put
Oh,
in,
100%.
and
Yeah.
just we got extra time. You played, we got stronger, and because you played longer, and it helped us for the rest of the season. But you can't prepare for this stuff like that.
Coach, so we don't get to the places we're at without some help throughout our careers. Who are some of your guys that you look back to as kind of mentors and people that kind of helped you along the way to get to the position that you're at?
There's so many. I mean, it's hard to bring them all up, but my father, first of all, I mean, his ability to work hard. He never graduated he graduated high school. He didn't go much. He was working on the farm. My high school football, Scott King. I had some college coaches, Ryan Gatch, Jumbo Wells, guys that I was an assistant under, and just Chris Caldwell, our athletic director, former athletic director. I learned so much stuff from that man on how to run a program. Just trying to do things the right way. The right way isn't always the easy way. Trying to really teach kids on how to be productive human beings, because at some point you're going to be done playing the game of football. And with the social media world we live in, and the gotcha now, and just the things that kids are exposed to now that, quite frankly, growing up, we didn't have cell phones. We
Yeah.
didn't have all some of this technology or distractions. But, Dr. Wagner, our first principal at Rancho Mirage, I mean, those guys were all coaches. They really shaped me into, you think you know a lot until you talk to people that do. And so I've been Scott Saban, he's a soccer coach at DHS. We used to talk a lot. He's won 8 or 9 league championships. He's a guy from Wyoming that really looked up to early on in my career at DHS. Had a lot of conversations about kids and how to do practice and how to function. So, two guys that have really impacted me over the last 4 or 5 years. Dr. Jerry Argovitz, who's bought the naming rights to our stadium, was an NFL agent for many years, a dentist. He's really helped mold me into the coach I am. Another guy, Barry Golden, who works with our Jazzy, our leadership program on campus. Those guys just have they've been very successful in their lives, and they've really come back and given back to our school and to our
Yeah.
community. And you can't put a value on experience and prior knowledge. And when something comes up, whatever the situation is, you have guys you can go to and talk to about, well, what do you think about this situation? And they've probably been in it, maybe not so much in the coaching world, but in the life and business. And so I've been very blessed. And of course, my wife, Anna Matthews,
Yeah.
she hears more about anything than probably anybody, and her advice is usually pretty sound for me, and I'm very blessed that I have her. And of course, my 2 boys, Trey and Ty, they don't care about the scoreboard. They love Dad. So I've got a lot of people in my corner over the years that have really helped mold me, and I'm very blessed. So I hope to have that impact on kids and even on the coaches that come
Yeah.
into my program and into my world.
That's awesome. We always got to look back and kind of give thanks because we didn't get here by ourselves. There's always some important people along the way.
Especially when you have success. I mean,
Yeah,
usually you have like an army behind you. And
Sounds like you got a pretty good one.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just every year goes by, you're just like, I mean, 21 years doesn't seem like a lot, but it is, and they just keep racking up. And it just, you got to look back. And it's funny how people come into your life and then they might retire or they might move on. And so you just got to make sure the people that really are on your side, that have your back, or with you through thick and thin, you let them know how much you appreciate them, and let them know before they're gone. And I think that's something that, when you're in the heat of the moment, when you're battling in the season or in a particular school year, people support you, and then you really realize how much they support you when they're no longer there,
Yeah.
when they moved on, and you're like, dang, they used to do this, and this, and the new guy doesn't do this, and anymore, or they did this little extra thing that made it so much easier for our team to do this and do that. And so it's just trying to really tell people how much they mean to you and what they've done for you while they're doing it. But then, of course, when they move on, let them know as well. So
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's very
Kind of be in the
important.
moment a little
Yep,
bit. Yeah.
100%.
Very important.
Because I think as coaches, we lose, track a little bit. Sometimes it's all about wins and losses and the next challenge. And sometimes it's nice just to enjoy it, sit back and enjoy it because it is a ride, man.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of highs and lows, and it's,
It's easy to lose sight of what's really important.
Yeah, so
sometimes
I
in
think
in
I love that.
profession.
Yeah.
It's such a high pressured, profession that we've chosen to go into, especially Coach Matthews. So
yeah.
yeah, you got to have that team. But
Tired of payroll headaches? iPay Solutions is your local payroll and HR partner right here in the Coachella Valley. From direct deposits to compliance, we handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. iPay Solutions, local, reliable, and built for your success.
Got dirty carpets, tile, or furniture? Trust the Carpet and Tile Care Company, your family-run experts. We bring sparkle back to your home with top-notch cleaning services, reliable, affordable, and eco-friendly. Call us today. We can be reached at carpetcare.co. Phone number 760-773-5882.
Speaking of kind of going back to football, when I think of Rattler football, I know they're going to be well coached and they're going to be consistent. You guys you've been probably one of the most consistent programs over the last 10 years as well.
Always
You
in the
owned
mix.
the DEL there for a while. There was a period where you guys were winning it every year. What do you attribute that consistency to? Is it the processes that you come up with? What is one thing that you kind of lean on to be so consistent over these years?
Well, I think it's a combination of a lot of things, but I mean, one guy that comes to my mind that's been with me since we opened the doors at Rancho Mirage is Mario Castillo,
Okay.
our defensive coordinator. That man is as loyal and hardworking, cares about the kids, has high expectations. He really, he believes in what we're doing. And I've been fortunate to have a few other coaches that have been, Antonio Desmarais was with me for 10 or 11 years. We've had some coaches around that they truly believe in what our philosophy is and what we're trying to do. A lot of people say it, but we really are trying to prepare kids for life after football and being a productive human being when you get out, when you get a job, and being a good father, being a good husband, being somebody that can work with a team and be accountable and show up every day, especially when you're not feeling like it. Every day is a grind, especially as you get older in the real world. You're not always going to have a coach or somebody there motivating you to do something. You gotta be a self motivator, and you got to get up in the morning and got to put your big boy pants on and go get it done. And sometimes that's not easy for people. And so, it's a combination of a lot of things that the coaches that really have been with me, they believed in, and it's kind of been the standard that we've functioned on. Wins and losses, we want to win every game we play. I mean, you're not going to, you're going to lose some. In some years, you might lose more than others, but it's how you prepare to win. If you're, hardest thing to do is to get up after a butt kicking by a rival.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
and
not
especially
fun.
when on social media, they're going to let you know about it. And
We've all been there.
yeah, and getting up and going back to work, because you're gonna face that in life. You're gonna get up and boss is gonna tell you something, or you might get relocated, or you might have whatever, and you got to
Stuff
find.
happens.
We really talk about E plus R equals O. It's your event, what happens in your life, and your response really is what your outcome's gonna be. And a lot of times events you have no control over. I mean, whether it's in a game, in life, I mean, something happens. The only thing you can control is your attitude and how you respond after it. A bad call in the game,
Yeah.
you're not going to get every call, and but how you respond to it, that's going to really determine, what can happen next. So I've been fortunate enough to have guys that have come in and to our program and really believed in that message of we're here to develop young men. And nobody's bigger than the team, which is sometimes hard because you got some star players that they have to be a certain way, and because you're a great player doesn't mean you get to get away with things. And we've lost some players over the years because of that, but we've also created some great young men because of it. And so I'm going to go on coach as long as they keep me, and that's we're going to keep our program the way it is. So and I think those guys that have been with me have believed in that system, and we kind of live and die with it.
It's a good system.
Yeah.
When did you start running that midline? Where did that come about? Because you're pretty famous for it around, like just in the coaching circles. At La Quinta, we got to start preparing for it a couple weeks before we see you.
Well, honestly, Big Bear and Dave Griffith up there used
Really?
to kick our butt at DHS with it all the time, and
But you do it differently.
yeah, we do it a little differently, but it's just it's about matchups and trying to find especially in this DL, there's some guys that are going to be tougher to block. So
Yeah.
why try to
Why-
block them?
let
Just
'em
try
go.
to make them wrong.
And they run right by it.
And so, but I mean, there's people know what we're going to do. We've done it for a few years now, and so it's getting tougher, and they're learning how to defend it. So, but it's just it's fun to put certain kids in conflict where you can take a player on the other side of the ball and say, hey, well, he's over aggressive. We're going to try to do something about that, or he's maybe not as quick as he needs to be or as strong. We can and so it just I really like the early Oregon Chip Kelly's zone read stuff that they used to do, and fascinated by just how fast they played, and we used to play a little faster, but just how you never know who has the ball, and everything tries to look the same, and
and you do a good job of it.
well, thanks, we appreciate it.
The quarterback, he does everything. Even when there's no handoff, I notice your quarterback, he'll just put the ball out and then he'll just toss it. I don't know if it's by design, but the timing of it is so nice because it's like the quarterback developed this like pattern of just putting the ball out there and then throwing it. I was like, man, I don't know. It's just I geek out on that stuff. So
well, I appreciate it. It's it's something that I always wanted to go in shotgun in high school when I was a quarterback, and my high school coach.
You play quarterback?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
He never let us go under center. We had a small offensive line, and just hard to get back and 3-step drop before the defense was there sometimes. And so I told him one day when I was a senior, I said, well, I'm a coach someday, we're running shotgun. And I said, because it's not, I can't, I don't have enough time.
Yeah, especially when they're blitzing.
Yeah. And so here we are. And so, people might see it's crazy, 4th and 1, you're in shotgun. Well, that's just what we do,
Yeah.
And so it's kind of been that way since we took over.
Yeah. I love it. So I love the way receivers block too on screens. You guys do a good job.
Yeah, Oregon was big on that. If you watch some of their stuff back in those early days, and any big time, college offense, those receivers, they're just the difference makers. They can spring an extra, whatever option we're running. You never know if it's going to get thrown out there to the 3rd or 4th option, and those guys have to. I mean, it's tough to do because you got to be consistent. So
just the angles they take, and they don't. I don't know. I hear people receivers got to come off the ball super fast to make it look like like explode off the ball. But you guys come off nice and smooth, and you're always in position, and those kids get their handles on there and turn their guys the right way. So I don't know. I'm a big fan. So
appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Big fan of the Rancho Mirage offense.
Yeah, I've been watching them on film.
Coach geeks out on film.
Yeah.
We didn't have much this year, but we were young and we had some injuries and we had some things going. But it's we have a lot in, and sometimes we don't get to all of it based on our personnel. And
stages when you install it too. Yeah.
And this year's group, man, I just got to give them a shout out because I'll tell you what, I mean, we didn't do very well in league. We had our struggles with some ejections and some injuries and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because this group of seniors that we had is probably the most disciplined, well-respected on our campus. They were such good big brothers to our freshmen. We have a phenomenal incoming freshman class this year. Our freshman team was 9-1, and we had a lot of freshmen that got some time on varsity. And the senior class, I mean, it just shows you how tough the DL is. I mean, we were 3-2 in non-league. We played Talkwitz. They played in the, I think, Division IX finals. We beat them 42-16 and lost by 7 on the road to Ramona. I think they finished second in Division 10. But it just shows you how the DL is, and how important it is to make good decisions on the field. And you can't. This is something that will stick with those guys for the rest of their life, is because you can't go back. Once you do something that you're not supposed to, it's taken away. And we got a good message this year on that. I've been coaching for 21 years, and I've had 4 ejections in 21 years, and 3 of them were this year in 1 game. So it was a disappointing season in that aspect, because we do take pride in our character and our integrity as players, and I mean, it's hard to tell people this is a great character class when something like that happens, but it was. They're great people. They're going to be successful
Yeah.
in their life. They are.
Did everything the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're kind of turning the page from 25 to 26. New league next year coming into the Valley. What's your thoughts and opinions on the new league, and what can we kind of look for as fans?
Well, I mean, I don't think our league's changing much at all. We the the competitive equity, that's how playoffs are set up. Everything is set up that way, and I think it's good for our league because you know you get in the DL, you're gonna have a tough road.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's teams that have played in the DVL and maybe even the Sun League that they build their team back up and they have some success. There's Coachella, Yucca, those guys, they can compete.
Yeah.
And so the way it's set up is, and I mean, this year going into the association, they've ranked the teams based off of the end of the regular season um, uh, high school sports rating. So wherever you finished at the end of the regular season, that
Like
really,
Cal Preps or
yeah.
something.
It used to be Cal Preps. Now it's
Something.
called high school sports rating. I think it's what it is.
Okay.
But so those top 6 teams, we didn't change nothing. Now going forward, the plan is the next season, next year in 27, the top team will move up and the bottom team will move down, and so forth. So
I
I
kinda like
believe
that.
I believe Indio's dropping down, and I think Banning is moving up, and so. But it's great. I mean, that's how playoffs are. It's where we're moving to, and so I mean, if if we have another year where we struggle, maybe we should go down.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't recruit kids. Kids are going to come in the
Mhm.
door. You can only coach who shows up.
Yep.
And if you might have a couple good years, and then you might have a year where you have injuries or you have less enrollment or whatnot, and so
Might need a reset.
and that's going to help. It's going to help teams, get a chance to get in the CI playoffs and make a run. I think
Mhm.
moving people around to where they should be based on the current year and then even going forward is kind of there's no perfect model. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like the days where you're matched up with just a league over there
Yeah.
and those 2 leagues have 2 private schools in it, and that's who you're going to face.
Yeah.
And
Right.
they're really dang good, and it's going to be a tough road. Versus, I kind of think it's exciting, pulling up the brackets and seeing like, okay, where are we going?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a high school.
Yeah.
I never even heard
We've
of that
had some
before.
interesting matchups the last couple of years because of that.
And so, and if you look at the scores of a lot, there's no more blowouts.
Yeah.
I mean, there is some, but most of the divisions, it's based on data. And I mean, you can have the number 1 seed where that line was drawn playing a 16, and it's a
competitive
3-point
game.
game.
Yeah.
It could have went either way, and so that's what they're trying to get to. And I mean, nobody wants to be in a league or in a division where the opening round games are 30-point blowouts or
Right.
Yeah.
40-point blowouts, and it's just so I think nobody really knows what they're looking for in the data. I mean, strength of schedule, common
Right.
opponents, that high school sports and Calprex, they never you can't.
They won't release the
No,
formula.
they won't. So, but I mean, there's never going to be a perfect system, and I know there's a lot of people that don't like the. Well, we won league, we don't get a home playoff game, and X, Y, and Z. But there's always another side of the story. I mean, if you don't have a home game in the first round, you're going to get one probably the second, and if you get to the semis and you've been on the road twice, you're going to get a home game, maybe a CF
Which is
championship.
nice. Yeah.
And so you're going to have to be on the road. I mean, the goal isn't to win the first round. The goal is to win a CF championship. And so one way or the other, you're going to have to be on the road. And now it's competitive. I mean,
It is.
It's really, I mean, the advantage is to be at home to play. There always is an advantage. But do you want that semifinal game at home or do you want the first round at home?
Right.
I mean, you just, so we've had them both. Actually, we played in 2 semifinal games, and they both have been on the road. We lost one and we won one, but it's all perspective. You can
Right.
argue both sides really. So
There's always two sides to every story.
100%.
Yeah. So, but we're all slave to the algorithm now and everything,
Yeah.
right? And now high school football is as well. Is that the way they're doing it now though? Is that going to affect the way you schedule in the future now in terms of your preseason? Because you got to play your league games. You already know what those are. But now are you going to go out and maybe take a tougher opponent, to kind of boost your ratings, or maybe take if you lose that game, you don't fall as far? I've heard different philosophies on the preseason schedule because of the algorithm. Are you changing the way you kind of
Well,
look at
the
it?
first thing, I mean, what people got to understand, you have to win your league games.
Yeah.
You got to be an automatic qualifier.
Yeah.
If you're worried about just getting in at a large or having a 500 record,
You're doing it wrong.
I mean, you're doing it
Yeah.
wrong. And
Yeah.
so, while non-league are important. I mean, it can help get you into playoffs, and obviously it can help prepare you for the DEL and the run you're going to have to make. But you also, you got to worry about injuries. You're playing too many physical teams that are going to. I mean, you lose half your guys.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you going to survive league?
Mhm.
But you also can't have you can't be 5-0 or have just games that you're just going to roll people because you're not going to be prepared. But I think the biggest thing, you have to win a league. You have to be a top 3 team, a automatic qualifier. If you're not that, you may not deserve to be in the playoffs. And
Right.
so, what looks better, a loss to a really good team or a win to a really bad team? I mean, I think people are trying to figure that out right now, because I mean, a couple years ago we played Farrington High School and we lost by 42 in Hawaii, and we moved up like 43 points.
I remember that.
And how is
yeah.
that? How is
How
that
is that-
good?
yeah.
Now we've played teams in the past where they maybe were not as strong, and we won by 30 points, and we moved down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, there's no. I try to find opponents that are going to be a challenge for us, but at the same time that, they're well-run programs. They're coaches I respect. They're not going to really do any shenanigans, and we don't need guys getting ejected. We don't want fights. We don't
Mhm.
want any craziness, and so. But we also want to be competitive, and we've played some of the best teams in the section and out of state, and we've played maybe teams that were good one year and the next year they weren't. So I try to schedule. Non-league means nothing to me other than it's a warm up for league. So we got to have a
Yeah.
couple teams that may be a little out of our range, but then there's got to be some that we're going to be able to win. But the bottom line, we're going out there to try to compete and win. So, this year we were 3-7. We had a few more people wanting to play us. In the past when we were league champs, it was hard to find a
Yeah.
game. We're getting these bigger schools, but and we only have 1,453 students, and so
Yeah. So it's pretty small.
we're not. I mean, we're not the biggest school around as well. So, and we usually have around 100 kids out for the program. We filled 3 levels. So some of that goes in. Does a team have 3 levels so we can get 3
Yeah.
games in,
I
or
love 3 levels.
or having that freshman team and giving those freshman kids a chance to play a schedule
Yeah.
is important. And there's some schools in the valley that are good at doing it. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't. Our lower levels we want to win, but it's really to get them experience to play.
More
And
games the better, right?
yes.
At 2 different levels down there.
100%.
Yeah.
And there's I love when people say there's we're league champs for freshmen. It's like, well, how did you do in the playoffs? Like, there's no banners being
Yeah.
hung. It's really you're developing kids
Yeah.
to get ready to play varsity, and having 2 levels below us, a freshman and a JV team. You're giving kids opportunity
Yes.
to run your system and run your plays and get experience,
Hmm.
so that they can be ready to
Yeah.
play varsity football.
Yeah.
So I think I think you're right. You're just preparing for league, get in the top 3 league, and let the chips fall where they may. Right? That's kind of your philosophy.
Yep.
Get
I
in
mean-
the
Yeah.
playoffs first.
Yeah, well, I mean, our goals have always been the same for the last 13 years. Is number one, we want to get in the playoffs. We want to have another week together with each other.
Yeah.
Number 2 is we want to win a league championship, and then number 3 was always be we want to get to Thanksgiving weekend. Well, it's
Yeah.
different now. That's the
I
CF
know. We were
championship.
talking
right?
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then it would be ultimately win a CF title. But then the 5th one is graduate high school with honors. And so, you know, it's hard because everything's all focused on winning and losing and how what you did. But one of those goals we talk about is watching those kids walk across the stage and graduate high school and have a good idea of what they want to do with their life. You know, it's hard. Kids don't know what they want to do.
I know.
You know, and you
Yeah.
got to have a plan A and a B. And I know everybody wants to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
Everyone wants a full ride. They want an NIL deal. They want, you know, and all this stuff. And that's great. And you work towards that. But that's such a small percentage. You need to have a plan B and C. Like, what would you do if you didn't have to worry about paying bills? If you do it for free, what do you enjoy to do?
Yeah.
And what is your passion? And so those are all, you know, it's all packed in there with those. Those are our goals. And so, you know, when you don't achieve them, it burns a little bit, but there's a brighter future out there because you're going to keep trying to get there.
And they learn the tools to find success in something else
100%.
after football.
Yeah,
So,
football teaches life, man. That's what it's all about.
That's what I love about
That's
it,
what
man.
it's all about.
Yeah.
Kind of running up against time here, Coach. What advice would you give to somebody that's maybe thinking to get into your profession? Maybe a young kid coming out of school, thinking about coaching. What advice would you give to that person?
Well, I think first of all, I mean, I'll even say it right now. Like, I don't think I know everything. Everything that I've learned over my career, I've either been taught, stolen it from somebody. And so, but the biggest thing is commitment to a program. I mean, you need to go somewhere and find what people value at that program and what they're about, and then commit to it. Be there for 2, 3, 5 years. Commit to that coach and tell them what, you know, be upfront with them. What's your goals? What do you? Well, I want to be a head coach someday. I want to be an offensive coordinator, and but then be there and live what they're doing, be what they're about. And, you know, for me, anybody that's ever come in and coached for me, I've always asked them, what do you want to do? And whatever they want to do, okay, let's work towards that. And you want to be an OC someday? Okay, well, this is how we do it here. You want to be a DC? You want to be a head coach? I think the biggest thing is young coaches always looking for that title. They want to be a part of something, but they want I'm only going to be in varsity OC, or I'm only going to be this. And
Offense,
it's like, well, you know, and I really value over the years the guys that have come in and said, Coach, I'll do whatever you need. I mean, and then they're there for your, what do you want to do? I really like working with the O-line, or I like to work with the linebackers. Okay. Well, as that position opens, I need you to coach DBs this year. I need it, whatever it is. And they're willing to, you know, I got a guy right now that was not on the offensive side of the ball, and he was a defensive guy his whole life, and I need him to come over on offense. And he's like, sure, Coach, whatever you need. And so I know he wants to be on the defensive side of the ball. Right. So we're going to try to get him back there when we can find another guy that can fill his role. So I think it's just committing to a program, and then being willing to learn from you know what they're doing there, and you know, don't be shy to bring up things that you think, but sometimes a coach is going to say, I mean, I remember being a position coach and being told no so many times, and then that one time I was told yes about something we did. You know, that's going to happen, and it's okay. And, you know, then have a notebook and mark down the things that, man, at this program, they do this really well. And when I'm a head man, we're going to do this. At this program, they don't do this well. We're not doing that. And just start putting a little collection of things that, you know, I'm going to do these things this way because I see how it works, and then add your own spicing into it when you get that opportunity.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Great advice, man. Great advice, people. Take note. Lastly, Coach, what's this golf tournament I'm hearing about at Rancho Mirage High School? What's that all about?
A golf tournament, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's our fundraiser that we do. It's Saturday, May 16th at Tamara's Country Club. It's just a 4-man best ball scramble that we use to help raise some funds to buy our gear, and I helped fund our trip to Hawaii that we took, and just any we have a couple future trips we're looking at. So it's just, I try not to. I hate doing car washes. I mean, I
Right.
hate nickel and diming it. So we only
Right.
do a couple fundraisers, and I've been very fortunate. Barry Golden and Dr. Jerry Argovitz and the guys, Tamara's Country Club. They've opened their doors, and really the community of Rancho Mirage and really the greater Coachella Valley have been very supportive of our event. We have a silent auction, and we have some raffles and stuff like that. So it's just a fun day. The kids come out and just try to raise a little bit of money. So, those helmets are
I
not
know.
cheap.
They're
Yeah,
going up.
keep going
Or
up too, man. Keep
they,
going up in
they don't
price.
they don't stop. So it's a fundraising event.
Okay, so all you Rattler Nation out there, you heard it here. You guys are almost sold out, so you guys got to go sign up. Where can they sign up, Coach?
They just go to our high school website, just Rancho or RMHS .psusd.us/football, and it's right there on. There's a link where they can see all the information about the tournament and the event.
Okay,
Awesome.
cool.
Awesome.
And we'll put that in the show notes as well, people.
Yeah.
So scroll down and look at the show notes. We'll have the link to the event and get out there, guys in Rattler Nation. You guys got to get out there and support your team.
Yep.
This is a very expensive endeavor that we partake in every year. So, Coach, thanks for coming in,
Yeah,
man.
thank
You
you.
were great. We're gonna want to have you come back and kind of preview 26 as we get closer. But thanks for coming in and joining the show.
Appreciate you, and thank you guys for what you do for our valley and the exposure that you give to not only the DL but just the Coachella Valley community and athletes that play football. I mean, you give an opportunity to, you're a voice of reason. You guys, I know you're a Blackhawk and you're a
Yeah.
Raja, but you guys,
Right.
you do a great job of being very neutral.
Yeah,
And
I
you
try.
call it how you see it.
Yeah.
And some don't do that in this area as well, and we appreciate your guys'
thank you.
coverage. So thank you.
It's awesome.
All right. Well,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Coach. We appreciate the kind words. And you guys know the routine. If you had some value in this conversation, like, subscribe, and follow. And we'll see you next time on Desert Valley Blitz.
See ya.